from two cities in the United States, Highland and Troy, Kansas. I've been banned from 3 restaurants in the United Kingdom where they wouldn't actually seat me, talking behind my back, calling me names. Glances, looks, like, oh, what did he do to him? So, oh my God, that kind of look. And, from disgusted to shock to I'm insane, or I'm a murderer, or a killer, or a drug dealer, or a biker, or a rapist, or a wrestler, or I had to have done something really bad in my life, because look at him. He's evil. I'm psychopathic. I must have had a bad childhood. You know what I mean? Neglect. I must have been locked up in prison for years to get all these tattoos. On and on and on the list goes. I mean, it's just like nobody ever figures it out. How you doing, man?
Hey, cool.
Good to see you.
Welcome to Rhymeside.
We're doing a show Friday night at the high school.
Okay.
If you get a chance, come on by.
All right, sir.
Right on. I can almost feel people thinking the minute I walk in a room, oh, I know who he is. I know what he does. He's a biker. One of those Harley riding dudes. Oh, no, I know who he is. I know what he does. He's a wrestler. I look like I could body slam you, huh, dude? When I was 8 years old, I remember staring up at my dad, and his arms looked big, and his buddies would be there, and they would all have a beer in their hand in the garage, and they all had tattoos on their arms, and they were from the war. And I thought, so in my mind at 8, that's what a man was. Time flashes forward, and I'm on a holiday or a vacation, and I had been going from Minnesota down to Tucson, Arizona, visiting my brother, who had lived in Tucson for 15 years as a police officer. And so I was familiar with Tucson, Arizona, and I was on this vacation all by myself, visiting my brother, and I was driving down the road one day, and I looked off to the side, and there was a sign that said tattoo. And my car automatically pulled in. I didn't have any control over my car at all. And it pulled in the driveway, and it stopped right in front of the sign, and my door pulled me open, and it pulled me out on the dirt, and I got up, and somehow I was magically drawn into the tattoo shop, and I found myself staring at the walls like this, looking around at all these pieces, and I found something on the wall, and I pointed to the thing, and it was a dragon. It was this little dragon right over here. It symbolized strength. That's what it felt like. The dragon, ooh, tough, I'm gonna be strong now. And I went back to where I was staying on holiday with my brother, and I looked in the mirror, and I was looking at my dragon in the mirror, and I'm going, wow, that's cool. That feels good, you know? There was no pain. It was only painful when I got the tattoo. And then I looked in the mirror, and I went, oh, this one doesn't look so good because it's blank, and I'm uneven. So the next day, I got in my car, and I went back down to the tattoo shop. The next day. Went back and showed my second wife my tattoos. I was excited. She absolutely went through the roof. She was with anger. She was so angry at me. She couldn't believe that I went and did that to myself. And that's when I realized at that moment in time that this was my body, not anybody else's. And that I have the right to color it or paint it any way I choose. And I don't care what problem you have with it.
You know, quite frankly, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care if it's white, black, yellow, green, or multicolored like mine. If you take my program and you boil it all the way down to the very bottom line, it's about love and acceptance of all people on the planet, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, religion, religion. We got a lot of religious killing going on. Been going on a long time. Since I started to speak these words out of my mouth, here's my life. I get death threats on the phone, death email. Can you imagine that, death email? Can you imagine the people on the end of the computer on the keyboard typing a death email? I'm gonna kill them. I just can't return.
Oh my goodness, Scary and I met in Minneapolis in the computer business. And when he first saw me, it was amazing because he said he fell in love with me at first sight.
Now in those days, I had tattoos on my body. All over my body. My hands and my neck and my face were not tattooed. So I had started collecting tattoos on my body, and I could cover up all my tattoos by long sleeve shirts and suits, you know, and ties. Nobody knew I had tattoos. So she didn't see my tattoos, and I thought, well, if she saw my tattoos, she may not like me, may not want to go out with me. So I wore my white silk shirt thinking I better dress up fancy, and I had all my tattoos covered up.
And I thought that the pattern in the material was so beautiful and so colorful, and I said, I just have to lean over and touch this because the material is incredible.
And she says, wow, that's the most beautiful shirt I've ever seen in my life. Look at those colors glimmer in that material. And I went, oh no. She could see my tattoos. And I didn't have the guts to tell her, you know, because I was afraid that she would not want to be with me.
It was then that he rolled up his sleeve and I realized that it was just his tattoos and it was just a white shirt.
Her jaw hit the table. She had never seen anything like that in her whole life. She was from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in a little tiny town, you know, and she was only 23 years old.
I thought it was wonderful. I had never seen a tattoo before ever in my life. And so to look at the detail in some of it and the shading and the things he'd chosen and why he'd chosen them, I thought was absolutely intriguing.
Over here is my wedding ring, and I had this as the sun. And this is my wife's first initial, J, for Julie, and it means that may the sun shine down on her for the rest of her life. And I had this sun tattooed on me during the wedding ceremony, which was kind of fun. salesman, a computer salesman, and the people in my work were salesmen, and they were good people. But if you did something that was out of the norm, or you said something, and they would always be real quick to find fault or joke about it or put you down or make fun of it, or, you know what I mean? And tattooing was not normal for them. So I figured if I just kept to myself and didn't show them that part of my life, then I would be safe. I wouldn't be attacked or picked on or found fault with or not part of the team, you know, all these things. Went to a company picnic with the computer salespeople, and you don't go in the middle of a summertime to a company picnic with your suit and tie on. You go in your shorts and you go in your t-shirt, and I had some tattoos that were showing. When I look back over it all, it was like, here it comes. You know, it's gonna hit. And I thought, okay, now is the time where they're gonna find out about me, and I'm strong enough. It doesn't matter what they say. I'll show them. Well, when I showed up to the picnic, it was unreal. I mean, the people were absolutely, completely different. How they talked to me was different. The way they didn't talk to me. I couldn't believe that I had seen such a shift in people based on what they saw. To them, I was someone else. They were being funny by picking on me, even when I would go to work with my suits and ties, and they would still talk about it or make reference to it in some way. I got to the point where I just decided that I didn't really want to be part of that anymore. It just didn't feel right. I mean, I don't know how people could be one way one day and then completely the opposite another day. And so one day, I said, this is it. I'm going to get a tattoo on me where I never go back to corporate America, ever. So I put a tattoo right here on my neck.
And in fact, after he did put a tattoo on his neck, he got a fabulous job offer. And the person called on the phone and offered him incredible amounts of money and just prestige with this job. And he had to say, no, I'm sorry, I tattooed my neck. And the person was very upset because they had known him for a very long time and wanted him in the company.
So I moved from Minnesota, which was the frozen tundra, to Tucson, Arizona, the hottest place in America. And that's where I started my tattoo business. By the time I was into my third year of tattooing, I had 3 tattoo shops. That's when I started to tattoo a little bit on my face.
The first time that he tattooed his face, he called me from the tattoo shop, and I just immediately started crying. And I said, honey, you know, you have no idea what you're in for. And he said, sweetheart, I'll be the same person that I always have been. Nothing's gonna change. And I just kept crying because I knew that it would really escalate, you know, people's attitudes toward him.
And I stopped. And I lived with that for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then I, well, you know, maybe one more right up here, you know, just because that needs a little partnership. They're like this, you know, same thing. And it's kind of crossing over the line a little bit here because we're up on the face, you know, and I thought, well, that won't be so bad if I just do those, you know. And then all of a sudden I started looking in the mirror, and the thought of it being wrong socially or taboo culturally went away. The thought of it being a bad thing didn't exist because it was already there.
I definitely was anxious, but it also threw me into a place where I had to start thinking about the fact that regret is a choice. You know, you have a choice to deal with everything in life. And I could either say, oh, you've tattooed your face and your neck, it's never gonna work, I'm leaving. Or I could say, you know what, I believe in you, and I know that there's a bigger plan for us. And it doesn't matter if you've tattooed your face or your neck. This is the journey that we're on, and we're gonna embrace whatever comes along.
Until one day something happened to change my life. Someone I do not know, I've never met to this day, in Tucson, Arizona in 1996. This guy ran a full-page ad in a newspaper that read, "Are you tired of dealing with scary guys with war paint facial tattoos?" I read the ad in the paper that day. I slammed it down on the counter, and I thought to myself, now, who would say such a thing about someone they don't even know, let alone print it in a newspaper? Well, I'm no different than anybody else. The first thought that came to my mind was, what am I gonna do to get him back? You know, revenge. I figured to get the guy back this day, I'd jump in my hot rod Lincoln, find out where he lives, go to his house, and run over his dog. A flat dog ought to get him back, don't you think?
I wasn't really going to get in my car and go over and run over his dog, but that's how I felt on the inside. Instead of running over his dog, I made a joke about it. And I put it in a newspaper ad that said, "The tattoo shop, home of the scary guy." And then one day, one of my friends said, "Why don't you legally change your name?" I said, "Okay, cool, I'll do it." I got the call at midnight. Somebody says, "You need to come down here." And I said, "Why?" It's because your tattoo shop's been blown up. And I went down there, and they had the street blocked off, and the police and the fire department, and the ATF and the FBI were all there, and water running down the street, and the lights flashing, and my shop was caving in, and the fire was out by then, but I was numb. I was just staring at the building like. And that's when I said to Julie, I said, "I'm packing my bags." She said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to travel the world to help people see each other differently." I knew what I had to do. That was my wake-up call.
Our school is very overcrowded. We see a variety of problems, things such as physical actions against one another, sometimes hitting, shoving, sometimes fighting. We see students who have a lack of respect for the facility. They are rude to one another. They speak unfriendly. They don't say please and thank you. They don't excuse themselves. They don't help other people with a door if their arms are full, for example. We have had some situations where students have been caught during the school day using substances that are inappropriate, like alcohol and or different drugs. So we have a variety of situations that we need to deal with.
Hi.
Hey.
What's your name?
Josh Bolton.
Hi, Josh Bolton. I'm Scary Guy. Good to meet you. Come on over here, Josh. Put your head on my shoulder. Right down on my shoulder, Josh.
I don't really like this.
There you go, buddy. I decided to pick up a telephone. You ready, Josh?
Yes, sir.
And call someone. You ready, Josh?
Yes.
And share my feelings.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh, dude, go sit down, man.
Thanks.
It was very interesting to watch other people, to see them divert their eyes, to see them pretend that they suddenly had a cell phone call, to see them grab a hold of their child's hand and pull them to the other side, to just stop and stare and look, to be unsure whether they should take his hand and shake his hand, and other people to be so excited that they would literally seek out where he was and say, "Oh, I heard you were here. I wanted to meet you."
How you doing, man?
Good, and you?
Man, you remember yesterday we had that first hour session?
Yeah.
And you came up after the session and you told me some information about how it impacted you.
Yeah.
And your decision not to go to battle with 2 people.
3 people.
3.
Yeah. There's these 3 guys who play a lot of practical jokes on me. They try to make a fool out of me, and they usually succeed very well. It's frustrating me a lot.
And how did you feel about it at the time?
Extremely mad.
And what were you going to do until you heard that first hour? Up until that moment, what were your thoughts?
Inflicting pain upon them.
I understand that. Now let me ask you a question. Are words energy?
Are words energy? Yes.
It sounds like energy if they make you feel bad.
They're negative energy.
Oh, so they are energy.
They're energy.
Yeah.
Ah, it's a different kind of energy. If I call you a rotten name, who's the word about?
You? Yours?
Yeah. If I tell you I hate you, whose hate is it?
Yours.
Exactly. Now that works for every word you hear from this day forward, including the 3 people you claim are calling you names. Okay? You might say, "Dude, Carl," as soon as he shoots his mouth off at me, I'll look right back at him with no anger, because it's not my problem.
All right.
I'm not playing your game. I know it's yours. Everybody around me knows it's yours. You're the one that's got a problem, and I'm not going to become your problem. And when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here for you. And walk.
The scientists studied the human being a little longer, and then they determined this. In order for a human being to go to bed on a normal emotional level every day of its life, it had to have 16 hugs a day. Now, when I heard that number, I looked in the mirror and I went, whoa, I wonder how many normal people are on this planet. So then I decided I was going to test it out, and I was going to sit over here on the sideline of my life, and I was going to wait for my 16 hugs to come. I waited 6 months, didn't get 3. So then I decided in order for me to go to bed normal every day, I had to go out and get my 16 hugs. Hi, Toby. How are you?
Okay.
You're not my first hug of the day, Toby, but you're about my 10th hug. Now, in order for 2 guys to hug in the hallway of the school, dude, this is going to be dangerous, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because if 2 guys are hugging in the hallway of the school, all of a sudden people walk by and they go like this. They must be gay. Excuse me? So we got to look like we're going to fist fight, Toby. You ready? So get your fists up, dude. There you go. Now slow down, man. I think he's a professional, isn't he? All right, get your fists up, dude. That's it. Now, slow motion. You know what slow motion is?
Yeah.
All right, come at me in slow motion like you're going to clock me right here. Wait a minute, not yet. And then bring it around the back. Ready? Slow, dude. Slow, slow. That's it. Bring it. Good job, dude. Hug me, man. Whack my back a little bit. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, now I got about 11 hugs in, dude. All right, now you guys are on the 16 hug a day program, except for one thing. That does not give you the right to walk down the hallway and grab people. You got to get their permission. Give Toby a hand. He rocks. Thanks for coming up, brother. You want to hug me? Don't threaten me. Get up here. Dude, we got a revolution going on here. No. It's too much. All right, now listen up. When I finish the program, then I will be right here, and I will hug anybody that wants to get in line to hug me. So when the program's over, come back up and we will hug.
I'm booked by the United States military, so if I'm on an Air Force base, they have everything that goes on in a regular community. They have crime, they have hate, they have violence. They already have those problems on a personal level, and their jobs have to do with a bigger problem. So my mission is to get to those people and teach them how to do it different on a personal level.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about following rules that other people don't follow. So in games, in any game, if I decide I'm going to make my own rules and I'm going to play by those rules and no one else is playing by that, then in life standards, I often lose.
You're talking about winning and losing.
You're trivializing the question. I can call him fat. He can lose weight. I can call him a jerk. He may not be. But when you call me something based on my ethnicity or my culture, I can't go down the street and be something different. I can't lose it. I don't want
Let me ask you, what's your first name?
My first name is Craig.
Craig. Is there
And
any
that means a rock.
Craig, is there any difference between... It means a rock. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Is there any difference between a negative word and a different negative word? Is it negative energy?
The impact.
Is
Yes.
it negative energy?
It's definitely negative energy.
Good. Then that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the fact that all words are power.
I follow what you're saying.
There you go. Whether they're tied to your ethnic life and who you are as a human being,
Sure.
or whether they're tied to this man over here and his weight because you determined he was fat,
Yeah.
is still negative energy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. And as human race, we have the capability of not doing that energy.
I follow you.
That's it.
I'm with you.
And the way you walk in, like, why do you come in such a manner as you did?
How did I come in?
Because you came in so slow.
I'm coming in slow because I've had 2 ankle reconstructions.
No, I mean, not. I mean, it seemed like not like that. I mean,
See,
like,
I can't hardly walk, dude, and that has to do with the physical thing with my ankle.
it's nothing more.
That's nothing more, man. See what happens to people? See, what they do is they see that outer shell. Here it is. Now, that outer shell was kind of moving like that. You're right, dude, because I can't move any quicker. So I'm moving like this, like I'm trying to, maybe, and right away, what do people do? They put it right in their brains. Well, he's a tough guy. He thinks he's a tough guy. He's copping an attitude. And look at the way he's walking. Oh, I think he's cool. No! My ankle is sore. You with me?
Yeah.
See, so before you start to put that energy in anybody's space, including your own head, you better figure it out. You better find out from the source. That was a good word. Thanks for asking. That's exactly the right thing to do. Tonight when we get there, then we'll give Bob a call.
Are we meeting with him for about the schedule for the next 3 days?
Yeah.
Get ready to crank it up.
This hour of the Tom Becker program is going to be incredibly scary.
This is Drive Time Omaha.
But not in the way you would normally think. This is a gentleman in the studio right now is known as the Scary Guy, tattooed and pierced pretty much from head to toe. Travels around the country now, teaching people how to deal with anger, teaching them to deal with people's differences. Because if I were to see you and not know you, my attitude would be, okay, you're a biker, maybe a meth dealer, that you definitely you've done time for a violent crime,
Yep.
and that you pretty much have an attitude and hate society.
Yeah, you'd be completely off base. I haven't seen the inside of a jail cell, although now I find myself in these fancy places called detention centers, which they can't seem to build fast enough, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in these detention centers now, and the funny part about that is I'm working with kids in detention centers and schools, but you know, detention center, that's kind of a lie. It's really a jail for kids, but we really don't want to say that out loud, do we? Oh, by the way, we jail kids now.
Nobody has tattoos quite like you. I mean, what at some point in time, were there people in your life telling you, hey, stop, slow down, knock it off?
No, not really. I was pretty aggressive with my attitude. I mean, I could pretty much handle myself in any situation, and I use negative energy to control and manipulate other people. I could put you down at a party, make fun of you in front of other people, and you'd probably be my friend even after I was done with you, and people would be laughing and having a good time. So I was really a master at that technique. So if you called me a name or something like that, don't worry, I'll figure out a way to get you back.
Talking with the scary guy, and indeed, it's an appropriate name. I mean, you know.
That's all right. By the time we're done, dude, we're going to be hugging.
Hey, no, well. No, I don't think so. No, there's anything wrong with that. Can I just call you Scary?
Please do.
All right, we'll talk to Scary, and your Charles and much more after this on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
There's a little boy over there who wants to meet you badly.
Hey, dude. How are you, man?
Good.
Good to see you. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason. Here's a card for you, man.
What most people don't understand is that they say, oh, kids must be so frightened of you. And the fact is that kids are drawn to him.
Does it come off? Nope. It's permanent, huh?
You're really cool, dude. Good to meet you, man.
I know people are always trying to push him into a religion, into one side or the other, or this is right and this is wrong. And his, comment is, would you love me if I wasn't of your religion? I'm very proud to introduce to you this morning my husband, the scary guy.
How many of you have been called a rotten name? Raise your hands high. Look around the room. Put your hands down. How many of you called other people rotten names before? Raise your hands high. Look around the room. Put your hands down. Check this one out. How many of you have actually hit another human being before? Raise your hands high. Look around the room. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm very safe right here. I'm in a whole room full of name-calling hitters.
He can shock people into understanding how their assumptions about behavior, how language applies, and how judgment applies to everyday situations. And he shows people quickly how some of the assumptions that we make are wrong.
I was a computer salesman. Do I look like one to you?
Behaviors are relatively easy to change. We can pass laws. We can do things that punish people for things they do wrong. Attitudes are very hard to change. And I think one of the great magic things about Scary is he can change attitudes pretty much in a few moments of time, in a few words, in a few sentences.
We usually don't use the term jail. We use it as a detention placement. It's for youngsters who have been picked up because they have run away from home. They've committed a law violation, which could be shoplifting, could be stealing a car, could be breaking into a home. Youngsters who can't be returned home because there's some problems at home, so they're brought in here by law enforcement. And I would say that at least 75% of the youngsters that we get have experimented and are using drugs.
It's good to meet you. To meet you. I like your tattoo. You all right?
Yeah.
Cool. Meet you. Excellent to meet you. It's good to meet you, man. Good to meet you. Hey. It's good to meet you. It's really cool to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Excellent to meet you. How are you? Good. Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Hi there.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
My pleasure.
I need one volunteer. What'd you do to your hand, man?
I punched a door at school.
You punched a door at school, dude. Was it wood?
Yep.
You've learned quickly that wood is harder than fists. I could have told you that. Just call me next time before you punch anything. Scary, which is harder, my fist or the wood? And I'll go, it's the wood, dude. The wood's gonna win, man. They're gonna have a cast, man. Think before you punch the wood, okay? Dude, let's figure out how to get that energy out of your body, man, so you don't have to release it this way, all right?
All right.
Okay, because it comes in there somehow, right?
Yes.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, man, why that energy goes in your body. Huh. What's your name?
John.
John, I'm Scary. We're gonna role play, John. Do you know what role playing is?
Yes.
What is it?
Where you act out a situation.
That's exactly right. We're actors on stage. That's our audience out there. We got to act like we know one another, so let's set the stage, dude, because typically speaking, that's how it works. People know one another and chill out together. Well, how old are you, dude?
17.
Okay, you guys imagine me at 17. Be hard to imagine John at 49, wouldn't it? Maybe not. All right, let's go a little further, dude. What's your favorite drink?
Mountain Dew.
All right, hold your Mountain Dew up. Very good. That's kind of an aggressive hold for Mountain Dew. Did you notice that? Yeah, I noticed that too. He's like, this is my Mountain Dew. I got it from Walmart. All right, hold on to your Mountain Dew, dude. Where do you go after, if you weren't here and you were in school, where would you go after school to hang out?
Home, because I'd be on house arrest.
Some of the kids that responded never responded to other things here in which we dealt with them on. One young man had a pretty rough background, and he came across as always having the tough guy routine, that he would have to be the tough guy around here. He wasn't that tough after he spoke, after he heard the scary guy talk to him, and he participated in the skit. And he's the young man that hit the wall. He was very angry, but the scary guy got to him, and I was surprised that he did volunteer, because since he's been here, he has not done that, so it was very impressive.
I'm not here to change anybody. I don't have that power. If I had the power to change people, I wouldn't even show up. I would click my fingers. I'm going to open a door today. That's it. You have to walk through the door. Drugs and alcohol are the same way. Negative energy. If you pump your body full of chemicals and you thinking you're getting away from all the things around you, or you're hip and cool, guess what? you're going to wake up and figure out they're all there again. I'm sorry, there isn't any real easy way for you. It's work. You people all know it because a lot of you people have walked in the trench of negative energy already, and you know what I'm talking about.
I suppose you could call me the manager of the Scary Guy. It really has transpired over 4 years where I met the Scary Guy through doing a radio program. I spoke to 2 or 3 schools, very difficult at the beginning to persuade them to have the Scary Guy. It was, I've got this guy I've just met on a radio show. He's 6 foot tall, he's tattooed from head to foot, he has piercings and he's American. Would you book him in to do an assembly? You can imagine the head teachers just looked at me like I was completely crazy.
We were looking for a way of launching emotional intelligence within the school. Pindar School has had a difficult past. It was the lowest performing school in the region. Behaviour was quite challenging amongst the students. So what we did is we came across Scary Guy. We saw a flyer, we went on his website, and whilst he looked very intimidating, we thought he might be worth the risk. If you look at Scary in an English setting, he is unusual. Yeah, he is the sort of guy where if you saw him out on the street, would cross the street. When he speaks, however, you get a sense of almost a Billy Graham without the religion. And we have found that very powerful because when you look at issues like bullying and violence, you need somebody pretty charismatic to challenge those strong figures who are coming through the media into the children's homes.
What do you got going on?
Yeah, well, when I first met you, I was like picked on constantly at school. I'd have people flicking things at the back of my head in class, kicking me on the way out in PE. I could never go into the changing rooms. I refused to do PE because it was that bad in the changing rooms. And they can't exactly have anybody in there watching us and that, getting changed and everything, so I kind of used to get really, really, really angry during lessons. There was one time when I actually kicked a table and it flew over and almost hit somebody because they'd been picking on us that much. I just got so angry. And then I was at the point where I could have just done something really, really stupid.
Teachers, they always say stuff that I don't need to do.
Like, what is it that you think you're doing that they don't like?
So, when you go talk to your mates and stuff, they shout at you and stuff and send you out. So I retaliate back and then...
So you react to them right away?
Yeah.
There's not much thinking going on?
Mum always tells me to count to 10 or something, but it don't work.
You don't even get to 1, do you?
No.
All right. Did you ever have an opportunity to speak to your mom and dad about all of this?
Well, I did, but it was just I felt really... I didn't want to talk to them about it because I just felt embarrassed in a way.
So you didn't really talk to your mom and dad about the whole problem?
Nah, I couldn't really talk to my dad at all.
Do you have control over your teacher? Do you have control over your mom? Do you have control over any of the boys? Mm-mm. Who do you have control over?
Myself.
You?
Yeah.
Look at me. You know what I get, don't you? I get a lot of negative stuff coming at me. And I don't take any of it on unless I like it or I want it for me. And then I go, hey, that's cool, thanks. All the other stuff is not mine. You with me?
Yeah.
What do you think's the difference between you then and you now? What has happened?
Well, it's like I'm a completely different person now. Then I was angry all the time. I hated a lot of people. And I mean, it's a strong word to say, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't. It's like I say, well, instead of listening to what they were saying, I kind of just remembered what you were saying about negative energy and just think, oh, well, it's their problem, not mine. And I did think that all the time then. And now I don't even need to think that. I just say, well, it's not my problem and walk away.
Dude, how are you? What are you doing? Do you got a letter for me?
Yeah.
Look at this letter. Can I read it now, or do you want me to read it later?
You can read it now.
Okay.
A miracle to me that, I mean, there's a young boy here in Scarborough, and this young lad came into the room where we sat, and Scary Guy just chatted and smiled, and we offered him a sandwich, and Scary Guy talked to him and just drew some stuff on paper, and the young boy just made some sounds, you know, mm-hmm, uh-huh, mm-hmm. And then very slowly, over 15 to 20, 25 minutes, we managed to get the young lad was saying yes and no, and then 2 words, and then 3 words, and then the odd sentence, and we left it at that. And Scary had got an idea of who he was and what his issues were.
Dear Scary, hope you're okay as I'm fine. What have you been doing lately? As you may or may... What's that say? Help me. As you may or may know, I'm going on what?
Holiday. It says holes.
It's a what?
Holes, it's short for holiday.
Holes?
Holes.
It's a nickname for holiday? Mm-hmm. Cool. I didn't even know that, dude. I thought I knew everything. Soon. If I had your address, I could send you a postcard. But unfortunately, I haven't got your address.
As I walked with this lad back to his class, I'm just talking to him as I would anybody else. You know, what lesson have you got next? And what is your favorite lesson? And what did you think of the Scary Guy? And those kind of things. And he's telling me what he's doing. Didn't think anything of it. 2 caretakers from the school walked past me. Didn't think anything of it. And I went through the door and I said to this lad, bye, see you later. And I turned to go back to the room where we'd come from, and the 2 caretakers that had walked past me were still standing there with their jaws on the floor as if they were transfixed. And I say, are you okay? And they said, did he speak? I said, yeah, why? They had never, ever heard him speak.
I'm going on holiday next Friday.
Do you want a letter to carry with you?
Yeah.
Okay. I will write you a letter. So you're going to be in school today and tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a day to write the letter? Can I have 1 day? And I'll get it back over to you tomorrow. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll write you a letter. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Now I got to write a letter. That's cool.
Talk to you tomorrow.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Back in the hotel, I'm typing email letters to kids. So if you look at it daily, it could be between 20 and 100 a day. Sometimes I'm up till 1 o'clock. I get some kids that are really, really seriously troubled, or they're hurting, or they're in pain. Somebody's suicidal, or they're in really drastic, and they're in dire straits, and I feel it's a threat to their lives or other people. Then I obviously call people that can, in their area, that can help immediately, whether it's the head of the school, or it's a law enforcement agency, or some social service group, or whatever. I don't see what you see all the time until I comb my mohawk, you know, and I'm looking in the mirror, then I see it, but it's not really there for me.
Check this out. This is today's newspapers. I'm sorry, but look, I'm trying to find out how it's going today, okay? There's one. There's two. Oh, and they found out about one of the bombers. He was full of anger. That's what it says. Surprise, huh? I'll just hold them up because I can't read them all fast enough. Here's another one. Now, this is just today. Oh, this is the evil. We got to get the evil. Stop the evil. Let's work together to stamp out evil. War on terrorism. Think about it. Are we actually helping people heal, or are we just creating a whole bunch more haters to hate more haters? New police officers, you got something you got to wake up to right now. Do you think you're wearing a uniform, you're immune from the process of negative energy in the form of words and nonverbal communication? No. You're going to turn into the dudes you arrest. Because you're going to take on all that negative energy out there all day long and then have to go home and be good. Now you'll go to the pub and drink yourself to death, because you got to get some relief. If somebody's going to strike you like this, and you turn your face and you see, yeah, you're going to redirect the energy. You see that? You're not going to absorb it. Or if they've got a knife, you're going to redirect that energy. You're not going to allow that negative energy to enter your body. And you may have to use adrenaline, but trust me, if you get angry during the process, you're going to get hurt. You never use anger to redirect energy. They even say that in self-defense class, and they also say it in boxing. People try to, they call it make their opponent mad, because once they make their opponent mad, they got them. Because they can't think clearly. Right? Right on. Give him a hand. Again, you rock, dude. What happens in schools, kindergarten class, first grade, second grade, high school, college, the large corporations, work environments, police forces, all the behaviors are almost identical. So people think that what I do for kids has got to be different than what I would do for adults. And they're wrong. I have a little real estate on my back, and I have a little real estate on my bum.
but my expressing myself is less important now than really using what I have. I don't take my clothes off anyway, because the sun isn't good for my skin. I'm not in the sun anymore.
Right now you are in a thunderstorm. It's beautiful.